Tracks to New York.
All right, so we have to think about, this is a sign topic, leading lines, has to be a strong part of the image. So, the first thing I see when I see this image is leading lines, and the railroad tracks always make really good leading lines. I think it's doing a nice job pulling you through to the city in the distance. I really like the power lines on the right side. There's a lot of negative space on the left, and so probably, well, it's more than a quarter of the picture is just negative space. And the question is, do you really need all that sky? I think you did a nice job with it. I probably would have cropped it a little tighter, and I think you still would have gotten the same effect. But 7, we'll look again.
Raritan Bay at sunset.
Okay. So beautiful, using the shoreline through the beautiful colors to the beautiful sky. I think you did a nice job with that. And I mean, colors look a little bit pushed here. Just be really careful with that saturation slider. I like that little, there's a light in the distance, and it's creating a light reflection coming back at you. That's kind of cool. It kind of pulls the whole picture together. 7.
Judgment Day.
Can you turn the dialogue box up at the top?
How do we get rid of it? Does anybody know?
I don't think you could. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
I think the answer is no.
Let me do this.
Do yeah, there you go. You can just move that whole thing down at the bottom.
Yeah, okay. We'll do that then. I lost it.
Now you're screwed.
Oh, there we go.
Well, we may never see it again, but it's gone.
Judgment Day. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I really like this picture. It's very simple. Your eye follows the railing across diagonally the picture and up where it's a little bit brighter. Now, there's nothing spectacular, like, at the end of your leading line here, but it's about the geometric shapes and how your eye flows through the picture. Just a couple comments. This picture might also look good in black and white because it's about shapes and tones, but that doesn't matter. It's fine in color as well. And then as you progress along, and again, I'm just going to nitpick a little bit. Just notice how it appears the top of the stair, it's leaning in a little bit. And, you can just play with perspective in the future. That's not going to go in the scoring right now, but, just pay attention to that, because some people that bothers a little bit, but this one's really good. 7.
Killington Wooden Walkway View.
Okay. Okay, so this is certainly a leading line, but I want you to think, for competition's sake, the leading line stops halfway in the picture. And I'm not so sure that there's enough to pull you through, to the beautiful sky at the end. The leading line is pretty strong here, and the picture sort of stops in the middle. I think it's a beautiful picture, but I think for leading lines, I want to see the leading line pulling you a little bit more through the picture. 6. And I wish I was there. I like Killing.
Goldfinch on the Weeds.
Okay, so again, the category is leading lines. When you first see this picture, what is it about? It's about the beautiful bird, right? And the beautiful colors in the birds. There's nothing really leading you to the bird. Your eye just goes directly to the bird because of the color and the brightness of the bird and everything. I think you need to, you wanted to use the perch there as a leading line. You may have to get lower and follow the perch up a little bit. I think you had the right idea, but I'm not so sure that it's really executed as best as it could be. 6.
garden path.
I saw this one already. I know whose it is, so I have to give it a bad score. Just kidding. I don't know who it is. I didn't even notice the name. Okay. So when you do leading lines, it's not always about what's at the end of the line, but it's what's along the line. So you have a beautiful path here with beautiful flowers. You kind of go up the stairs, and there is something at the end, that beautiful window as your eye follows through. I think you did a nice job. Exposure looks pretty good. Composition I think is good. Just be careful. Something that bothered me, again, I'm nitpicking a little bit, but look along the bottom edge where that flower is, just the purple flower is just poking in there. Just be careful of your edges. I would just take that whole flower out, because it's just a little bit visually distracting. 7.
Behind the curtain.
Okay, I think it meets the topic. I think another good picture for black and white, but again, it's fine in color. Yeah, I mean, I think it's leading lines. You follow up the stairs. There is a subject in the middle. My issue with this picture is the subject in the middle is kind of cool. And then it goes to this, whatever's hanging back there. And I'm just kind of wondering, does that really have a lot of interest? It doesn't have a ton of interest to me. Like, I wish the subject was up closer to that thing. And I think the leading line would have been longer. 6.
Killington's downhill skiing lines.
Somebody brought their camera skiing. Okay, so you certainly meet leading lines. I'm just not sure that there's a ton of interest here. You have the ski tracks in the snow. The sky is kind of interesting in the distance, but I'm just not sure if it's enough to carry this. 6.
Elk crossing.
Okay, again, I think you're pushing the boundaries on leading lines here. You could probably interpret this as it's a line of elk crossing. That's probably how you're interpreting it, but I don't think that was the intent of this competition. So there's really no leading line leading to the elk. It's a cool picture. It's a nice atmosphere, good exposure, but I don't think that there's enough emphasis on the leading line. 6.
Intersecting paths.
Okay, so you sort of have a bunch of lines in this one. I'm not thrilled with the light. I don't think it's the best of light, but you sort of have a bunch of lines. You get to that fountain and you go beyond, and there's some interest behind that. You kind of could make a right or left, and there might be some interest. I'm just not sure that it's compositionally it's strong enough of a subject. 6.
Exposed.
All right, so again, I'm struggling with trying to figure out what the leading line is. I guess the crevices in the rock goes from the left, kind of goes across, comes back to where the shadow is. I'm just not sure that it's strong enough. This is the kind of picture, this is the kind of scene where, man, you could get into those lines, those crevices, and I think you could make some really cool, like, intimate leading line stuff. But I think as it is, it's not leading line enough. 6.
Right.
8. 8. 9. 9. Now you
Now I do it right. Sign B, leading lines. Garden path, Margot Partridge. Did I go backwards? Should've did
Yeah,
observation.
you had to hit the reverse on there. If you hit escape and hit
Okay,
reverse.
sorry, we'll make sure I do it the next time. Equal merit. Margot Partridge, honorable mention, Raritan Bay at Sunset. Judgment Day, Wayne Quinto, equal merit. That's not coming up right now.
Going by,
Yeah, Tracks to New York, Edward Schulman, honorable mention. Let's check that before.
so there's something about reverse order, I think.
No, you know what it is? We had this for the critique the last time, maybe. Look on the display on the right. I don't see anything.
I thought there was something about reverse order.
Yeah, but it didn't. It skipped back and forth.
I know, it's weird.
It says on the right-hand side, under display, it says sort by photographer.
Ah, there you go.
You want to change that to.
Yeah, you see
sort by-
that drop down box?
I can.
Oh, geez, there we go.
Reverse score order is what you want.
Reverse score order.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot to change it from the critique night. All right. Score contest. Let's do this right now. Signed A, leading lines. On the road to adventure.
All right, nice. I wish I was here too. So I love the way the road comes in. Very interesting rock. You have a really good exposure here. Not the greatest sky, but you know, that's okay. I mean, maybe crop a little of that sky off. Again, you know, the story's about the line. And I love the way about almost 3/4 of the way through, the road just kind of drops and then it appears again. Like, that's really cool because that, you know, this is about the leading line. Nice job, 7.
Path to the city.
Okay, so, you know, getting down low is good. Love getting down low. You're kind of using the fence as a leading line. Again, there's a lot of negative space in the sky. And I just want to point something out. I just look at that really quick. I don't know if it's the projector or not, because I don't want to project. Yeah, it is the projector. Forget it. If you notice, it looks like it's kind of posterizing or banding. See those little kind of, but you don't see it in here. So it's not that, it's the projector. Again, that doesn't really matter anyway. Look, I think your idea here is nice. You got this long path, nice low angle going to the city. I just think there's too much sky in this. This might be a better picture if you got a little bit higher and look down. I'm thinking, because then you could really see the line. 6.
Cut down and cut off.
Okay, so a lot going on in this picture. I think your leading line is you're kind of using that stick leading to that cool old tree through the fence. You know, the leading line doesn't always have to be a line. And you're kind of using those 2 fence posts to pull your eye through to that tree. Borderline if it works. You had to look a little bit to see that. A couple things. I'm not convinced that the whole, like, the lighting isn't the greatest. I think maybe if the lighting was a little bit better, it's really harsh lighting. I'm not sure that the whole subject has that much interest in it. I think it does have interest, but not in the light and the angle you're showing it. And there's also, again, be careful of bright things. Bottom right corner, there's a flower sticking there. Take that out because it's bright. It's just pulling your eye to it. It's not really that visually heavy, but it is sort of pulling my eye. Like, why do you have that flower there is what's going on in my head. I think maybe, you know, either backing up and making the tree a little smaller might be better. Going through that fence, using more of the fence as a leading line, but I don't think as far as what's there is holding it strong enough in a leading line competition. 6.
Tree line street.
Okay, so again, this is one where the interest is the leading line, right? There's interest along the whole leading line. I wish you had better light here. Left trees really bright. You see that bright spot on that tree right on the left? That's really visually heavy in the foreground of your image. And then within the trees, you got shadows that you really can't see too many details. I think the concept of leading lines here is good. Your idea is really good. Again, you got to think about going out in better light, because pictures like this they just explode in really nice light. 6.
Thunderbirds.
Great pic. First of all, great picture. Always fun to shoot these guys. Again, I don't really see the leading line. There's a bunch of lines, but they're leading in different direction. That's not a leading line. A leading line should be something that leads you someplace, or along that leading line, there's some interest. That leading line could be light, it could be an actual road or something like that. But there's just different lines here. Great picture, but I don't think it meets the category. 6.
All that remains.
Okay. Good choice for black and white. I love the reflection there. I like your leading line. It's kind of bright. It leads to this old tree. Decent sky for a black and white image. I think you did pretty good with this one. 7.
On a morning like this.
And I wish you had better light. Leading lines works. Good place for leading line. This is a classic leading line. If you go there at sunset, you get these big orange rings around that really look cool at this place. There's a lot of, like, again, negative space in the sky that's kind of taking away from the beauty of the image. 6.
The road out of Dodge.
Just a word of caution, just be careful of panoramas and contests, because notice how small the image is. And some judges don't like that. Some judges are like, oh, I can't really see it. So, they don't give it a good score. So just be cautious of that in the future. With that said, another beautiful leading line. It's a little bit hard to see because the picture is so small, but it comes in as a diagonal. It goes through the whole picture. You have lots of interest. Again, not the best of light, but I think you really match the category here. 7.
Looking up the street.
Well, certainly meets, again, the everything along the line is interesting here, right? You could really spend a lot of time in this picture. I really want to know why somebody's hanging Santa Claus out the window,
Oh, shit.
right? Doesn't it look
Yeah.
like he's hanging there like, you didn't see
Take a
that,
ladder.
did you? That's what?
Santa's on a ladder.
Oh, Santa's on a ladder. Uh-huh. Well, anyway, love the colors, love the leading line. I think you did a nice job with this. Just again, be careful for wide angle lens. You got distortion. You notice the buildings on the left. Of course, where this is, maybe they really are like that, but just be careful of that. Even if they are like that, for a competition like this, I might straighten it. If it was a salon group, I'd be more picky on that. 7.
Italian Air Force.
Somebody was at the same air show I was at. Again, I go with what I said before. I'm not really following a leading line that's taking me somewhere. There's lots of lines in here, but they're all going in different places. Great picture, but I don't think it matches the category. 6.
The spine of a sand dune.
Okay, beautiful. I love the ridges, using light properly, really nice black and white image. Textures, curves in here. Again, the picture, the leading line is about everything that's going on along that line that traverses through the whole picture. Nicely done. 7.
Up the river.
Okay, nice fall picture using the river as a leading line. Again, lots of interest along the river. 7.
Daylilies path.
Okay, good. Not in the scoring, but just watch your stroke line. Your stroke line sort of got cut out. But well, first of all, beautiful picture, nice leading line, great colors, great flowers. But just notice how that, again, it's not going to go in the scoring, but man, that stroke line being cut off affects this picture. It affects how I'm looking at it, because I'm really bothered by that upper left corner, because it really looks dark. And I'm not sure, is it looking more dark than it is because of that stroke line that's there? So really be careful of these. If anybody needs advice on how to put these stroke lines, talk to me or anybody else who could tell you how to do it. It has something to do, make sure you size it first, then put your stroke line. Don't put your stroke line and then size it. That's why sometimes it gets cut out. And then again, just watch your edges. Notice the lower left edge where those flowers are just kind of crossing the edges. I might just have cut that orange flower off. You know, and then I'd say the red flower is cut in half, but you know what I mean. Just try to make that a little cleaner. But nice job. 7.
Canadian red arrows.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't see these guys. To tell me where these guys are. Can you see, I think if you would have followed one airplane, I think it would have matched the category, because, you know, again, these are trails. The story's about going to the airplane. I understand the trails are really cool, but it's not like you go to the airplane and then follow the trails. The leading lines, you're supposed to follow something to your main subject. Again, great picture, put it in the open category, and I'm telling you right now, it's going to get a 9, but here, it just doesn't match the category, in my opinion. 6. Nine. 8. 9. 9. 8. 8.
Okay. See if we do this right.
Okay, review.
Ready?
First score order, review.
Ready? Honorable mention, signed A. The road out of Dodge, Fernando Gomes.
Yeah, you see how much bigger it is suddenly?
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
I just go back a second. Just if could you backspace?
Yeah,
I
what the
mean,
hell's
how
going on?
different does that picture look there?
Why is it?
Even though the back looks a little out of focus, but I won't say that.
Okay.
You know, the picture looks so different there.
Then what is?
That's a Photo Contest Pro issue. I don't know,
Yeah,
unless there's some sort of setting.
I have to look. Up the river, Jim Chelan. Daylilies path, Wendy Kaplitz. Equal merit. On the road to adventure, Wendy Milligan. All that remains, Wendy Milligan. Looking up the street, Wendy Kaplitz. Spine of a sand dune, Wendy Milligan.
I guess you had to be named Wendy to get an equal merit.
Sorry about that. Here we go. Showtime. Show visible.
What, was something missing?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I never had it happen before.
Wait, what happened?
No, I'm saying what Well, why the pictures were two different sizes? You think that's,
Oh, yeah, I don't know. That you gotta go into the,
That-
probably the setup thing.
uh,
But that, you better wait till you're done.
yeah. Okay.
Was the other one like that? First one we looked at? I don't think they
I
were.
think it was. Score, okay. Open salon, oh, no. Yeah. I hit the wrong one, sorry. There we go. Okay. What is going on?
Hit score, the little score.
Oh. Oh, boy.
The pressure is on.
Side salon leading lines. Sleeper Hollow Cemetery Crypt. Try that 3 times.
Okay, so I get your concept. You know, if I think it matches the category. I'm just not sure the end there, if it has enough, you know, should have put like a ghost in there or something. Like, then I think it would have been cool. I just think the back of it just doesn't hold enough interest. I think it's processed beautifully. You know, the leading lines, I guess it does meet the category, but the leading lines themselves aren't enough to carry interest in it. 6.
The Road to Salvation.
All right, so you're using the bridge and the lights. The lights certainly are pretty cool. I like the way they're diagonal and they lead to the bridge back there. I think it's a bold, but it definitely works in black and white. I'm not sure I would have thought of this one for black and white, but you know, I think it works. 7.
This Way Through.
Okay, it's kind of cool. You know, I really, your greens might, your yellows might be a little bit pushed too much, but I really like the contrast of colors here. The reds and the greens and the grass and whatever's really yellow way in the back. I think it matches the category. You kind of go down the steps and follow through. Background just adds something to the picture. It's not distracting, but it's strong. I just wish you didn't push those yellows too as much. 7.
Carousel at Blue Hour.
So you took that literally by like finding that white line that leads to something. So my question again, remember the topic is, first of all, it's a beautiful picture. I love photographing this carousel, by the way. You know, would this picture be any different if you just cloned out that whole white line? Is that really adding to the picture? And I'm going to guess no. I don't think it would matter. I don't think this is about a leading line. I think it's about the carousel. And that line isn't really strong enough to be something that, whether it's there or not, I'm looking at that carousel, right? A leading line wants to bring you to something. You want some interest to bring you to something else of interest or interest along the path. 6.
Sunrise Reflections.
Okay. So, beautiful leading line. Part of it has a reflection. I like the way the water is kind of diagonal puddle, like the puddles on the right, but the water is, I mean, there's no water on the left, right? There's kind of like an X there, and then that kind of leads you out. And then look where the sun is in the distance. It sort of, you know, balloons out into the beautiful sky. I think you did a nice job with this. 7.
Road Trip.
Looks to be like the edge of the road goes like this, and there's a cliff. So somebody like stopped their car on a cliff. Hope you got out the driver's side, went to the back of their car and took the picture. There you go. That's good photography. Hopefully you didn't slip. Guess they expect snow here because they got those big red things in there. All right, so leading line, pulling you to the mountain. You know, I think it meets the category. decent picture. Road might be, your leading line might be a little bit boring, but we'll look at this one again. So
Corridor.
got beautiful, beautiful tones in this one. Again, great leading line because the interest is along the leading line. Don't you just love how it just gets smaller as you go? You know, there's the illusion that it just gets smaller. And even though there's no great interest at the end, they're actually like, I don't think that's the sun all the way at the end or the moon, but you know, if you look at that last light on the top, see the way it's kind of white there, it's kind of round. Whatever the case is, the whole thing is interesting. That's cool. 7, processed very nicely.
Follow the white picket fence.
All right. There's somebody really thinking, you know, diagonally, that line curves the fence and boom, right to a rainbow and takes you right across and out of the picture. Nice job. 7.
Path from the vista.
Okay, another nice one. Interest along the lines. I love the textures on all the stairs. I love the textures that are brought in from the trees and the shrubbery. Colors are done nicely. 7.
Aurora Hunter.
Well, again, great picture, but I'm not convinced that the auroras are leading lines. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking lines in there, but the competition is leading lines. And like, you know, if there was something leading to that, I think it would be stronger for the competition. Gorgeous picture, put it in the open category. I think it'll get a nice score. I love the person in it, giving you some perspective of size. That's great job. You could see some stars. You got some nice lights in there, but for the category, I don't think it's cutting it. 6.
The platform.
Okay, so only because I've made this shot a bunch of times. You should be able to see the World Trade Center out there through the top. If you look in this spot, you could see the World Trade Center, and maybe I could see it in there, maybe not. Again, it's a nice picture, but I'm not sure about leading lines. You know, if I could see the World Trade Center through there, if that was visible in this picture, I think it would have been really good for leading lines, but I can't. I'm just kind of following this one through. It's cool. I'm just not liking it for the topic. 6.
Trinity Church at Christmas.
Okay. I know this spot very well. Nice. Using the roads, the flags, the trees. I love the light in the church at the end. Cool. 7. Eight. 9. 9. 8. 9. 9. 9. 9.
Sign Salon Leading Lines, honorable mention. The Road to Salvation, Arlene Sopenzetti.
Again, go back. I'm sorry. I mean, I could hardly see that mountain in the other one,
I've never seen it happen before.
right? That adds so much more to that picture. Great picture.
I definitely got to check that. Road Trip, Arlene Sopenzetti. Equal Merit. This Way Through, Lenny McDonald. Sunrise Reflections, Ellen Stein. Corridor, Lenny McDonald. Follow the white picket fence, Charlene Federowitz. Path from the Vista, Ellen Stein. Trinity Church at Christmas, Charlene Federowitz. Okay, now
Nice job.
I have no idea what the hell is going on. Yeah. Open B. Sydney Harbor.
All right, so. You know, I think you're trying to tell a story about people waiting. There's a boat, or a ship, there's a bridge in the background, which is kind of cool. I'm bothered. First of all, the lady sort of right to the center. She's sort of silhouetted there. I guess it's a lady, whatever, right? Like, you notice how she's silhouetted. Some of the people are partially silhouetted, but then some of the people you could see them fully. I think either they all have to be exposed right, or they all have to be silhouetted. Also, again, go around your edges, make sure nothing's cutting your edges. Left edge, you got a person cut right in half there. The problem with that is it just keeps pulling my eye there. I'm like, you know, why'd you cut the person in half? So just think about things like that, or just visually heavy that's pulling your eye toward it. So I would just change the exposure here to darken these people up a little bit, because your background's so bright. So if you silhouette the people, or don't silhouette the people, but make it one way or the other. 6.
Winter picnic table.
Okay, so it's a cool site, but you know, ask yourself the question, you know, what makes this special for competition, right? You cut a lot of things off at the edges, you know, you sort of left some stuff in it on the top. It's a snapshot of a cool subject. I don't think it's a strong competition image. I think your exposure is pretty good. You know, it's not so easy to expose snow, but I don't think it's strong enough for competition. 6.
Chip off the old block.
Okay, well, you're tack sharp on your focus. You got a cute pose there. Just a little word of hint, and just your perch there is just a little bit bright. Just might just burn that. Use the burn tool to just tone that down a little bit. Otherwise, perfect. 7.
Auto vision.
Man, it took me a second to figure out what was going on here. So I'm trying to think if I want to say that the right side should or shouldn't be there, right? It's really abstract if you're just looking at the reflection, right? You kind of got this building looking every which way. You know, it's kind of like the Brain building in Las Vegas, where just everything's going a weird way. You know, you probably left a car there, so there's something to identify what it is. I don't think you need that mirror. The whole kind of the right side here, I think you could cut that whole thing off, and I think you could get the same effect. We'll look again, because I'll see where my eye goes when I see it the next time. 7.
One Main morning.
Okay, beautiful reflection, beautiful sky. 7.
Unwelcome guest.
All right, so your main subject needs to be the brightest and or sharpest part of the image, right? And I think the unwanted guest, the raccoon, is probably the main purpose of taking this picture. But you know, my eye first went to those distance posts. Again, your eye usually goes to the brightest and or sharpest part of the picture. I think the windows panes are the sharpest, and those posts in the back are the brightest, and it's pulling my eye away from the raccoon. Got to make sure that your subject, you know, if you crop this tighter, if you brightened up your subject, I think it would have been stronger. 6.
Post-diet picnic.
It's the old Cranford-Millburn Camera Club. This is what happens when you stick around too long. You're not the best of lighting. Interesting subject. It's kind of cool. It's more of a snapshot again, but I think you did a nice job with it. The flowers kind of frame it. It gives you a sense of place. Certainly tells a good story. But again, just pay attention to the lighting. The skeleton on the right, it's really bright in the head area. But we'll look again. 7.
Against the wind.
Okay. Fog always adds moods to your picture. The distant boats, I think that's pretty cool. I think this would have been stronger just getting those distant boats in the fog. I'm not sure that these posts in the foreground, they're really strong, and your eye kind of stops at them. And I think they don't have enough interest. I think if you would have walked out that dock and took a picture of those boats, I think it would have been stronger. 6.
It's a feast.
Okay. Well, your bird is certainly sharp, and you certainly caught some good action. Exposure's pretty good. 7.
Night sky phenomenon.
Oh boy. So, when you look at a picture like this, it certainly is interesting, right? There's lots going on. You don't know exactly what it is. It seems to me that there's a lot of noise in the picture. I think your subject is pretty cool. It's a good choice for black and white. There's a ton of noise in this picture. And with the cameras we have nowadays and the programs we have to reduce noise, I don't think we should see any noise in any picture. You run this through, Lightroom AI noise or Topaz AI noise, and you have no noise in this image. So I just be careful of that. 6.
Ogling elk.
Bugling.
Bugling.
It's not a bubbling elk.
Bugling, yeah.
I heard bubbling elk.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
I'm looking for the bubbles coming out of his mouth. Don't worry. I used to read them at CamNets and they used to make fun of me. So for every word I said, they make fun of me. Anyway. All right. Cool image of the elk. I love that pose. I love the way he is. Again, just look at this picture. Isn't that line that's on the right in the back, isn't that distracting? Does it add to the picture? If that line wasn't there at all, would that change this picture at all? No, because the picture is about the elk. So when you see something bright like that in your picture, just tone it down. Right, and again, just use the burn tool on highlights, or there's a million other ways to do it. You do it in Lightroom, whatever you're using, and you can tone that down. But it's a little distracting to me, but we'll look again. 7. If when I look again, I see that white line first, it's going to get a lower score.
Planes.
This might be a good, it's fine the way it is. This might be a cool black and white image, right? Textures, tones, shapes, right? Those always make nice black and white images. So you got cool textures in here. You got some cool tones, some cool lines. It's abstract because it's really, it takes some thought to know what exactly is going on here. But the lines and the textures kind of hold your interest. I think you did good with this image. It's kind of weird. Not everybody would like it, but I mean, I like what you did. Just be careful. If you look on your upper right, you're starting to lose some focus there. A picture like this, you really want everything in focus. 7. 9. 8. 8. 8. 9. 8. 8.
Open B, honorable mention. Wayne Quinto, Auto Vision. One Main Morning, Margot Partridge. Post Diet Picnic, Edward Schulman. Bugling Elk, Edward Schulman. Plains, Wayne Quinto. Equal Merit. Chip Off the Old Block, Edward Schulman. It's a Feast, Margot Partridge. Open A. Falls, Last Light of the Day.
Jackie, we were there. Jackie's still, okay, right, that is Niagara Falls, I think. Maybe not. All right. So I think because of the fog, the falls are kind of not looking as sharp as they could be. I like the way you have this framed. I like the colors in it. I certainly like the fog. Be careful on your edges. Some of those in the middle, I might have cropped those out of there or cloned those out of there. 7.
Eye to eye view.
Okay, the eye is sharp, that's important, but you have some really fast focus fall off there. So, really pay attention. Really pay attention. Again, this is the A group. Really pay attention to your settings. It would be nicer if the entire subject was sharp. Your flower is tack sharp. The head is tack sharp, and that's important. But I think it would be, I'd like to see the whole thing sharp. And also just be careful. There's a bright spot all the way up at top. Just burn that down, tone it down a little bit, just so it's not so prominent. 7.
November Moon.
Okay. So I love the way you have this cropped. It's cropped with intent. Okay, you got right at the edge of the tree on the right. You cropped this gazebo thing off nicely. You could tell it was done intentfully. You got a good exposure on the moon. It's not always easy to get this exposure right. And it's also not easy. I see so many moon pictures where either the moon or the foreground is completely out of focus and people still think it's cool. Everything's tack sharp here. I think you did a nice job. 7.
Ice fishing.
So I have to give it a good score so we could see it at the end, so we could see it big, right? All right, well, the gold's got a nice little fish there. It's interesting the way you have it cropped. It gives you a sense of place, which environment. I think that's important. Exposure looks pretty good. I am not 100% sure about the contrast on this one, because it may not have been in the best of lighting, but I as presented, I think it's pretty good. 7.
Glowing statue.
Some judges don't like pictures of statues because they say it's a picture of somebody else's artwork. So I've seen judges just disqualify it because it's like, it's not your work. But anyway, I'm certainly not, don't care. I love the angle you got on this, right? So you have a nice low angle. You darken the background. I'm not even going to say it. Like, I feel like there's something that it shouldn't be, but maybe it's just my eyes. I've been teaching all day since 9 o'clock this morning, so I'm starting to lose it. Exposure's good, it's sharp, cool angle, 7.
Repeating form.
Okay, nice. Again, notice how everything is tack sharp, right? So a close-up picture like this, right? Especially when you have repetitive patterns like this, everything's got to be sharp. And this one, everything's sharp. I love the 2 diagonal lines that come down. Really nicely done. 7.
I want that.
All right, nice capture. Who's ever taken this picture, you're nice and low. You see pictures like this all the time, and usually they're looking down. When you are down low like this, it puts you on a whole nother plane of looking at this about this cool picture. Exposure looks pretty good. Little bit bright on the one on the right's chest there under his head, but that's okay. I think it's okay. 7.
Frozen in time.
Okay, interesting. I like your colors. Your processing of this is good. I could still see texture in the snow, and you have beautiful color on the pumpkin. Just it's just a simple but very cool picture. 7.
A different kind of bird.
These birds of paradise are so difficult to photograph. What you have to do, and it's what you did here, is you have to separate the colors. Okay, and I think you did a really nice job on that. Your flower is tack sharp. Your colors are processed perfectly. I would darken the background a little bit, so you do have some. So notice, and again, I'm nitpicking here, but there's a bright stem coming up the back right, and then there's another bright stem coming from the yellow leaf there coming down, just a little bit distracting. Tone those down and it will be perfect, but nice as presented. 7.
Screw.
Okay, very cool. I like the way you put it in the 3rd. You sort of left a little bit of background there just to make it mysterious, but it's not totally darkened up. I love all the little cobwebs on it. The colors are nice. The texture's nice. 7. Really nice pictures this round.
To the other side.
All right. Nice, cool effect on this. Just don't open that door. It goes to the other side. The other side of what? Don't. It's probably where those skeleton guys were back there. Oh, beautiful colors. I like the effect you have on it with the focus. 7.
Bluebird in winter.
Beautiful bird. Love the snow. I'm going to say this, and I know you're going to get crazy about it, but you really need to see the bird's eye. And even if I photograph these in my yard in the snow, but what I do is I take flashes and put them out there and use off-camera flash, and I shoot through the window. But it's enough is just to throw some light, some catch light into the eye, because this bird is absolutely beautiful, but you can't see his eye. You could even add a catch light in post-processing in that eye, and it would bring the eye out a lot better. And then just be careful, that branch sticking out of looks like a horn coming out of his head. I could easily clone that out. Absolutely beautiful picture. I just think you could do some work on this just to make it a little bit better. 7.
Gorgeous trio in the reflection.
Okay, great reflection, great composition, good exposure on, white birds. 7.
Blue heron.
So notice how important the eye is. It's always important in birds. The head looks sharp, but the rest of his body doesn't look sharp. Like, I don't know if I don't want to take any guesses, but I just wish that body was a little bit sharper. I love it. It's a nice, simple picture. He's you know, he looks exposed pretty well. The composition and the position of him is good. Just bothered by that body, just looks a little bit soft to me. The legs look okay, the head looks okay, but the back of the body really looks like it's just really pay attention to what f-stop you're doing, so your whole subject's in focus. We'll look at this one again. 7. I didn't eliminate any.
No,
Oh boy, that's crazy. Really good pictures. 7. 8. 9. 8. Now they're not projecting giant.
this is maybe some of the.
Oh, no, it's the review. I'm sorry.
That's the
the
review,
review.
yes.
8. 9. 9. 9. 8. 9. 9. 8. 9. 7. Body's just not in focus. Maybe it's motion blur.
Let's see if it gets bigger again. Open A, honorable mention. Eye to eye view, Al Figuccio. Yeah. What the fuck? Ice fishing, Wendy Milligan. Glowing statue, Wendy Kaplitz. Different kind of bird, Wendy Milligan. Bluebird in winter, Al Figuccio. Equal merit. November moon, Jim Chelan. Repeating form, Fernando Gomes. I want that, Al Figuccio. Frozen in time, Jim Chelan. Screw, Wendy Kaplitz. To the other side, Fernando Gomes. Gorgeous trio in reflection, Wendy Milligan. And finally. Open salon. Dahlia Santa.
A beautiful flower. I love the angle you got it, a nice, like the nice close-up view of it. Everything is sharp that needs to be sharp. These pictures, it's really important that, you know, most of it is sharp. 7.
Iron Horse.
Yeah. Nice job with the steam. You know, a lot of people do this and they blow the steam out because there's a big variation between the black and the steam, but you did a really good exposure. Nice job. 7. I photographed this string before.
Bubbles and reflections.
Really cool. You know, just the colors in this picture are cool. You know, forget the cool bubbles. Then the reflections, the colors are just so cool. Maybe take a little bit off the top, but that's not important. 7.
Winter visitor.
Beautiful lines in the water, right? They just look really nice. Nice reflection, pretty good angle. He's sharp. I think this is she. 7.
Spiny.
Oh, this is really cool. Again, great shapes, Great colors, everything that's sharp that needs to be sharp. 7.
Which head nebula?
These are tough to my son, when he was in college, ran like the big space telescope, and he let me bring my camera up and take pictures of nebulas and stuff. You know, it's like one of those telescopes that's like the size of a room. And you know, when I was looking at it, not everything was sharp. And my son was like, yeah, it's like, you know, 100 million light years away. It's not going to be sharp like the bird that's in the tree. But anyway, there's nothing about sharpness here. I'm not sure if those stars are sharp. I mean, but again, I don't know the distances here. I think this is cool. I think it's a little bit abstract. It's not something you see a lot, but I'm not sure that it holds enough interest. If it wasn't stated what it was, I'm not sure we would have known what it was. 6.
Bubbles in spoon.
All right, cool bubbles. Really thinking on this one. Again, it looks posterized to me. No, it's not. It's good. 7.
Coming in for a landing.
Okay. Great capture. Love the background. Problem is the top is blown out. Look at the white on top of him, right? Which means you probably weren't in the best of light. These are not easy birds to capture. You really got to be in the right light for them. 6. Beautiful otherwise.
Intensity.
All right. Great little pose on the fox. I might darken the upper right top, but otherwise, nice job. 7.
Rapids.
The shutter speed it shows here is really cool. I just love the water in this one. Love the red barn. A little bit bright in the background, but where that red building there is really cool. It really stabilizes or equalizes the whole picture, or balance. I should say balances, kind of balances the whole picture. 7.
Wintry path.
You were thinking of putting this in leading lines and you weren't convinced, right? So you threw it in the open. Great path, great picture. But like, what if you would have just tilted the camera down? I know you're probably thinking I wanted to include that whole tree, but you know, you include all the whole trees on the left. But if you tilted the camera down a little bit, that white in the sky, it's really bright and it takes up a lot of the picture. If you would have tilted your camera down a little bit, I think this picture it would have told the same story. I think it would have been more interesting. 6.
Skyline from Weehawken.
I wasn't thrilled when they put all this Hudson Yard stuff up, but I thought it blocked a lot of the skyline, but it's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff in Hudson Yards. Great reflections in the water, right? Those are beautiful reflections. I think you did a good exposure, not the greatest sky, but I think you did a good exposure on the buildings. 7. Nine. 9. 9. 9. 9. See, I'm really bothered. Again, look around the edges and at the top. It looks like it's just posterized a little bit. I gotta look at this one. See, I think it is. 8. Give you the benefit of the doubt. 8. 9. 9.
Open Salon, honorable mention. Bubbles and Spoon, Lenny McDonald. Intensity, Ellen Stein. Equal Merit. Dahlia Center, Ellen Stein. Iron Horse, Arlene Sopenzetti. Bubbles and Reflections, Lenny McDonald. Winter Visitor, Charlene Fedorowitz. Spiny, Ellen Stein. Rapids, Arlene Sopenzetti. Skyline from Weehawken, Charlene Fedorowitz. And that's our contest, folks.
Good job. Oh, did you want to look at that to see if you could? You want to look in the preferences?
Yeah, I've never had
See
that
if
happen
that's-
before.
Does anybody online have any questions for Nick?
Go to startup. All right, it's not, I haven't seen this in a while. How about tools? No, all the
How
way
about
in, all,
preferences?
yeah, preferences. that's
Does
it.
anyone online have any questions?
Hmm.
Anybody here have any questions?
No.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
The heron, they said the tops were blown out. They're not blown out. I think it's the secret.
Got to call it the way I see it.
Who's the most famous hard judge for white birds?
I don't know, Roman?
Roman. And he gave that an equal merit at CAMNATS.
Oh, that's what. Okay.
But that was
Well,
A, not Salon.
Constraint.
Go to,
pictures square with-
go to when he's judging.
Any,
Constraint
The
pictures,
top of that bird was blown out. End of story.
constraint pictures to square one scoring recommended. The one for reviewing is missing.
Oh, that's what it is.
So if no, that's recommended. If I took that away for scoring, wouldn't you have the bigger pictures?
Okay, oh, yeah. But the question is, are they, Are
okay,
they,
if no
um,
one online has any questions, we'll say good night and hope that you enjoyed the competition.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, thank you.
Good night.